So you're moving to Frisco because you want great schools, real neighborhoods, and a family-first lifestyle, not a surprise bill every month. So today I'm going to walk you through the true monthly cost to live here end-to-end using 3 popular Frisco communities at 3 different price points. I'm going to cover your mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOAs, along with your utilities, including water, sewer, trash, and electricity. Your toll fees if you commute on the tollway, internet and phone, childcare, and a few small but real line items families always end up asking me about. Then I'll translate those totals into a comfortable annual salary range using common sense budgeting and lending guidelines so you're not stretching yourself thin. Now, before we dive in, I'm going to make you 2 quick little promises. First, I'm going to keep this video honest. I'll use conservative, easy to follow numbers, and I'll point out where to verify exact dues or rates for the address you might be considering. Second, this is meant to calm your nerves, not flood you with weird jargon that you don't understand. Anything I say does feel a little bit like alphabet soup, well, then take a pause, maybe rewind a little bit, and then message me with your 3 favorite addresses that you've been eyeing, and I'll run those numbers for you one-on-one so you know exactly what to expect. But first, a few ground rules I want to start with so that we're speaking the same language. I am going to be using a 30-year fixed mortgage at roughly 6.75% interest rate with 20% down so that there isn't going to be any PMI in these particular examples. I do work with a lot of families relocating here to the DFW area that typically have quite a bit of equity to roll into the home that they are buying. So I'm going to be applying the homestead exemptions that matter in Frisco specifically. Now, the city of Frisco does give a 20% homestead exemption on the city portion of your tax bill, and Frisco ISD gives a $140,000 school homestead exemption on the school portion. Those are separate line items, and we'll do our examples on the Collin County side just to keep our math consistent. If your house is on the Denton side, totals will shift a little bit, and I will run that for you when you send me those addresses. Also, let's talk about HOA dues, and any one-time fees differ by neighborhood and can even differ by the section. We always verify current amounts in the HOA's management certificate or resale package before you write an offer if you need it. And finally, nothing here is going to be a sales pitch. It is a family-friendly budget conversation so that you can move with confidence because not all cities and states are created equal, not by a long shot. And so you don't forget, my name is Kristen Carpentier. I'm a local realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I help people try to find their dream homes here in the great state of Texas. So if you have any questions at all, reach out to me. My information is down below, and let's have a conversation on what it is that you might be looking for. You can call, text, or email me, and I'm probably gonna be the one that you're talking to. And when it comes to looking for a home, yep, that's gonna be me too. I love working with people to find their dream home, and my small but mighty team and I love to do what we can to make those dreams come true. Now, let's keep moving along, and let's warm up with a 30-second tax primer because this is the part that throws some people off. Your bill usually has 4 separate lines: your city, your school district, the county, and on the Collin County side, you're also going to see a college line item for Collin College. It's the city line that gets that 20% homestead reduction. Now, the school line gets that $140,000 reduction. County and college don't usually give the same kind of reductions, so we do plan those at full value unless we see otherwise on your specific account. Now, if you only remember one thing from this video, remember this: city homestead is a percentage off the city portion. School homestead is a dollar amount off of the school portion. They stack and they help, especially in the middle price band that we're going to be talking about. And of course, this is going to be for your primary residence, not if you are looking to buy an investment property here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay. Now on to the real world walkthroughs. I'm going to pick one popular community in each of these price bands. Preston Vineyards is going to be under the $500,000 price band, Phillips Creek Ranch between about $500,000 and $1 million, and the Fields at $1 million plus. I know you can find some options in the Fields under $1 million, but we're going to be focusing this particular discussion on the higher price point over in the Fields. I'm going to show you the full monthly picture: mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA, utilities, tolls, internet and phones, childcare, and your odds and ends. And then I'm going to give you a comfortable salary range that fits each particular scenario so that you're not kind of white knuckling it every single month wondering how far you can actually stretch your budget. Now let's start with the Preston Vineyards neighborhood, our under $500,000 price band. You want to be in Frisco, but you also want to be smart about what it is that you can afford. Now in this particular area and price point, think older, single family, and maybe some villa style homes on the east and southeast side of Frisco. It is a great entry into the city. You get that neighborhood feel, your kids will get to go to the Frisco schools, and you avoid paying a premium for the newest master plan communities. So let's price a $450,000 home here with 20% down. That means $360,000 loan at about 6.75% interest rate. Yes, I know our interest rates continue to inch their way down, but I told you I like to be conservative. And with the principal and interest, it comes out close to $2,336 per month. Now we're gonna layer in property taxes the right way. With the homestead exemption, the city portion is taxed on 80% of your value. So it would be your $360,000 at the current city rate. That's roughly $1,532 per year, which is about $128 a month. The school portion gets that $140,000 off, so you're taxed on $310,000 for the school portion, which is roughly $3,000, about $263 per month. And on the Collin County side, you'll also see the county and college lines. Together, that's around $1,037 per year at this price, or about $86 per month. And those four pieces together and your total property taxes are about $5,730 per year. Call it roughly $477 a month. Of course, those numbers can always vary slightly. Now your insurance portion is going to be next. North Texas has a lot of hail, and you never know where it's going to end up hitting, so we're going to budget a little bit more realistically here. On a home like this, I would probably plan around $250 a month for homeowners insurance until we actually get a quote from your insurance carrier. The HOA in Preston Vineyards is generally modest compared to other neighborhoods in Frisco. Think of your basic neighborhood association, not a country club, tons of amenities. So I'm going to pencil that in around $35 a month as a placeholder until we pull the current documents and verify that the number provided is in fact correct. Because surprisingly, I know not everybody can get it right, and many times it can be off just a little bit. Now, if you add all of those together, your housing subtotal, mortgage, taxes, insurance, and HOA is going to land right around $3,098 a month. That's a whole roof over your head number that most people use when they ask, can I actually afford to live in Frisco? Now for the living here part, your utilities. That's your water, your sewer, and trash from the city for this size of a home. With normal use, typically lives around maybe $120 a month. Electricity changes with the seasons, of course. It can be super hot. It can actually get cold here sometimes. Yes, we are known to see some snow. And the retail plan that you actually pick with your provider. So a realistic starting point on a smaller, older home is about $170 a month, kind of averaged across the year. And that makes utilities about $290 a month to start. Now with tolls, the Dallas North Tollway does run north and south right through the center of the city of Frisco. And if the tollway is part of your week, well, we're gonna set aside around maybe $80 a month. Some families do spend more, some spend less. Totally depends on your commute and where you need to go and how many days you need to actually travel there. So it's all about the particular exits you get off on and your schedule, of course. Now your internet and phones, so a solid fiber plan and maybe 2 mobile lines with a couple of streaming services usually ends up near about $220 a month. This is another one that you can shop around if you are trying to save a few dollars wherever you can. Childcare though is the major swing item. If you have a toddler in full-time care and an older kid who has to go to after school care, I'll pencil in maybe $1,750 a month for a rough estimate. If you don't have childcare needs though, lucky you, you can zero that line item out and save quite a bit of money. Now maybe add in a $77 family membership if you'll actually use the Frisco Athletic Center. Think outdoor water park, an indoor pool with water exercise classes and swim lessons for your kids, personal training, fitness facility, and group exercise classes, 2 full-size gyms for a variety of sports, and it really is your best bang for your buck for the entire family if you're looking for more than what your community offers. And moving to Frisco, you'll even need to set aside a $3 per month payment for your residential alarm permit if you do get an actual alarm installed in your new home. It is annual, but I do like to put it in the budget so that it doesn't really surprise anyone if that's something that they want when they're making a move here. So if you include that childcare scenario, your life add-ons total about $2,423 a month. Without childcare, the add-ons come in around $673. So living in Preston Vineyards on this example price of a home, your grand monthly expense is roughly $5,520 with your childcare, or $3,770 without. So what does that mean for salary so that you're comfortable? Now, lenders commonly like housing to stay around 28% of your gross income. Now on our Preston housing number, about $3,098 a month, that's going to suggest a comfortable housing income around $133,000 per year. So if you add in the childcare and want your fixed obligations, housing plus your childcare to stay under 36%, you're looking at roughly $162,000 per year. That's going to keep you in a healthy range with room for youth sports, summer camps, and the occasional emergency that could come up. Nobody wants that. And a quick homeowner tip for the older sections of these neighborhoods, you're going to want to maybe reserve a budget for that maintenance that could come up in an emergency. I like to set aside 0.5% to maybe 1% of the home's value per year. So on this price point, even a $250 per month reserve is going to give you cushion for things like maybe a water heater, maybe your sprinkler system goes out, or a surprise roof repair. Now, I know that was a lot of budgeting and numbers to think about, so let's move to our middle band and one of Frisco's favorite neighborhoods, Phillips Creek Ranch. This is the $500 to about $1 million price point. More of a sweet spot where a lot of families land. Now, in this neighborhood, you are going to get trails, lakes, community events, and a master plan vibe that's really kind of built out for kids who love to be out on their bikes, walking your dogs, and just getting out and enjoying all the things that a neighborhood has in it with your family. So let's now price an $800,000 home with 20% down. That's a $160,000 down payment and a $640,000 loan. At our same rate, principal and interest is going to land us around $4,152 a month. Taxes with the homestead exemption applied come out to roughly $11,296 per year, so about $941 a month. Now for insurance, I'll budget $375 a month here, assuming a newer roof or at least maybe some modern materials in the house, because this is going to be a master plan community with amenities. I'll plug in $220 a month for HOA as a planning number until we obviously pull the exact villages. That puts your housing subtotal in Phillips Creek Ranch around $5,693 a month. Notice how the homestead exemption helps more at this price point. The school exemption especially takes a good bite out of the school portion. So for the living here lines, bigger homes and yards mean bigger water and electric swings in the summer, of course. So I start utilities around $400 a month combined for water, sewer, trash, and electric. If you are using the tollway and a little bit of maybe the 121 toll road, set aside $110 a month for the tolls. Internet and phones, $220 is still really a good bundle starting point. Childcare, same planning number, $1,750 if you're in that season of life. Add the optional $77 for the athletic center and $3 for the alarm permit. Add those up and your life add-ons land around $2,560 with your childcare, or roughly $810 without it. Now your grand monthly payment at this band is around $8,256 with your childcare, around $6,506 without it. So for a salary, keeping housing near 28% of your gross income on that $5,693 housing payment points to a comfortable household income around $244,000 per year. If you add our childcare scenario and want housing plus childcare under 36%, you're in the ballpark of $248,000 per year. Again, these are planning targets. Your actual comfort level depends on your other fixed payments, your savings goals, and how much you love Little League and travel ball weekends. And of course, if you want to run more exact numbers, reach out and I'm happy to recommend a great lender to go over your particular situation as well. Now, before we go to luxury, a quick gotcha reminder that it does apply anywhere in Frisco. You're going to want to verify whether a property sits inside a special district like a water control improvement district, or what we're going to refer to as WCID. Inside Frisco city limits, PIDs are pretty uncommon today, and the old Panther Creek PIDs have been closed out. But on the far west edge, you may see the Frisco West WCID of Denton County. If your address is inside that particular district, you'll see a separate district tax line on your bill, and your water, sewer, and trash are billed by the district on its own schedule. Different from the city of Frisco. It's not scary, it's just a little bit different, and we do want to make sure that we plan for it. The point is, we check it before you ever fall in love with that front porch of your new home. Now, all right, it's time for the $1 million+ price band. Let's talk the fields. Villages like Brookside and the Preserve are anchored by the PGA Frisco and a long-term destination feel. This is the new and exciting development that everybody's talking about and has a lot of families really excited to make the move here. With its walkability, the design, and the planned lifestyle that the Fields has makes it super desirable. So let's price a $1.5 million home with 20% down. That's a $300,000 down payment and a $1.2 million loan. At our rate, principal and interest is roughly $7,786 a month. Taxes with your homestead applied come out around $22,433 per year, about $1,869 a month. Insurance on a high-value home with North Texas hail risk, I'm going to budget $567 a month until we get those quotes back. HOA in the Fields does vary by village. As a placeholder for planning, we're going to use $300 a month until we pull those exact documents for your particular lot. Your housing subtotal in the Fields is right around $10,522 a month. For larger square footage and newer systems, utilities can start higher, call it $540 a month combined for water, sewer, trash, and electric. If you're tollway dependent, most weekdays, $130 a month for tolls is probably a reasonable line item. Internet and phones, $220 a month is still a good estimate here. Childcare, if it applies to you, continues to be the big variable. $1,750 a month. Add the $77 for the athletic center, but you might not even need that here in the Fields because of all the amenities that they have. And of course that $3 for the alarm permit, which a lot of people are opting into because of these newer and higher price point of homes. So your life add-ons total about $2,720 with childcare, roughly $970 without it. That puts your grand monthly total at approximately $13,242 with childcare, or $11,492 without it. So using the same comfort guidelines, a housing payment around $10,520 a month lines up with a household income near $451,000 a year at that 28% housing target. Now let's take a deep breath here. Let's zoom out for 2 minutes and talk about how to fit this into your life. The simplest way to stay comfortable is to keep your core housing payment, your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and HOA around 28% of your gross household income. If you have big fixed obligations like childcare, maybe some car loans or student loans, try to keep housing plus those fixed obligations under about 36 to 40%. That's pretty conservative enough to leave room for the real reasons that you wanted to move to Frisco in the first place. From youth sports, dance, music, camps, and saying yes to all the stuff that really does make childhood fun. You'll also notice I didn't try to guess your groceries tax or obviously your Target runs. Those are lifestyle choices and they'll expand to fill any budget you give them. Start with the fixed lines that I just walked through. Keep them at that 28 to 36 range and you will probably be just fine. Now, a few high leverage tips to shave costs without feeling it. First, sewer winter averaging. The city uses your lowest 3 water months between December and March to set your sewer cap for the year. If you simply turn off irrigation, fix dripping hose bibs, and run a quick leak check each winter, you can save meaningful money all year long. Second, your electricity. Frisco's in a retail power market, so shop electrical providers in plans. Set a calendar reminder before your contract auto-renews, and don't be shy about switching if you find better numbers somewhere else. Third, insurance. Ask your agent to model different wind and hail deductibles, 1% versus 2%, so that you can see the premium trade-off. And fourth, HOA clarity. Never rely on an old blog post or a neighbor's memory. We are going to pull the current management certificate and the resale package for your exact address so that you have the truth in writing before you waive anything. I am always shocked to see a dozen listings in a particular neighborhood and multiple different numbers for the exact same HOA. And what about cable versus streaming? Most families here are streaming these days, so keeping the fiber internet, choosing 2 or 3 services that you actually watch, and maybe move everything else to the cancel pile. If you really want live TV for sports, budget maybe an extra $70 to $100 a month and know exactly why you're paying it, or install an antenna on your home and get the local channels in some of those bigger games that are televised on your main TV channels. Phone plans change constantly. Run your address through the carriers, compare coverage maps, and be ruthless about promotional plans that expire mid-lease. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this is a lot, how do we actually use it? Well, here's the simplest path. Pick your price band. Pick one or two communities in that price band that feel like us. What does it actually feel like for your family to live there? So maybe then you're gonna come up and send me these addresses that you are truly serious about. I will build a single page for each one with your homestead tax mat, the current HOA dues, and any one-time fees pulled from the real documents, whether there's a WCID or any legacy PID to know about, and maybe figure out a toll estimate for the specific commute that you need to move here for. It is the boring work that most people are always wanting to skip, but I actually really love running these numbers, and it's exactly why my clients don't get surprised after closing. So let me recap the three examples in plain English so that it maybe sticks a little bit more. In Preston Vineyards, around $450,000, plan for a housing payment near $3,100 a month with a living here add-ons that land around $600 to $700 if you're not paying for childcare, or around $2,400 a month if you are. Comfortable household income there is roughly $133,000 a year just for the housing payment, or around $162,000 if you want housing plus childcare to sit under that 36% line. In Phillips Creek Ranch, around $800,000, housing lands near $5,700 a month with add-ons around $800 without childcare, or $2,500 with it. Comfortable income targets are roughly $244,000 for housing, or around $248,000 if you include childcare in that 36% bucket. In the fields, around $1.5 million housing is about $10,500 a month with add-ons near $8,000 without childcare, or $2,700 with it. And comfortable income targets around $451,000 for housing alone. So could your numbers be a little higher or lower? Absolutely. A newer roof, a different deductible, smaller or larger square footage, a long tollway commute, 2 versus 4 phone lines. Those all are going to be moving the needle. That's why I keep saying let's run it for your house, your commute, your particular family. I'm not here to sell you on Frisco. There's plenty of information out there all about it and why it's one of the most popular suburbs for families moving here. I'm just here to make it simple for you to live here without any surprises. So here's how we finish this in the next 48 hours. Send me your top 3 addresses with the price band that you're shopping. I'll send you back 3 one-page breakdowns with the tax math using the correct exemptions, the current HOA dues, and any transfer or working capital fees, whether there's a water control improvement district or anything else that might show up on your bill, the utilities that you can expect for that address, and a toll estimate for your specific route. If you love one of them, I'm gonna book a tour. We'll verify school zones by address, and I'll help you write an offer that you feel great about. If none of them are perfect, well, we're gonna keep going until you're excited about the numbers and the neighborhood. Frisco is one of the best places to raise a family. It's safe, it's convenient, and there's always going to be something to do. With a clear budget and a guide who tells you the unglamorous stuff as well as all of the fun parts, you won't get blindsided. When you're ready, reach out and I will help you build your personal cost to own plan. No pressure, no surprises, just a path to the right home for your family in the Frisco area. And if you stuck with me this long, I can't thank you enough. And if you want to make sure to catch all my videos every single week when they drop, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.